Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by UMaine head soccer coach Scott Atherley up in Orono. Coach, congratulations! A great win down on the road at UMBC, the University of Maryland, Baltimore College, 2-1 on Sunday, and with that victory, the Black Bears clinched a playoff spot, so a chance to defend um, the America East title, and obviously. Three more games left to go in the season. If you would, talk a little bit about last Sunday's 2-1 victory over the Terriers.
Well, I think first, it's always difficult to play at UMBC. The travel is challenging, and it happened to be a really warm day, and I thought our players just really dealt with the totality of the weekend. And we scored a couple really good goals. We limited UMBC's chances, and to be able to get out of there with 3 points was really important, especially at this stage of the season, especially with the fact that we've been on the road for seems like forever, for 3 consecutive weeks.
I know, right? We
Weekends,
talked a
yeah.
little bit about the travel down there. It was not the planes, trains, and buses, but you did have to take a plane and then a bus, which makes it a little bit more difficult trying to do all the connections.
Yeah, well, I think, for the most part, everything went smoothly, which was great. But I think anytime, it really becomes a 2-day trip. And then you're always thinking about, you're going to make your flights and all of that, or is the bus going to pick you up? All of those things are just naturally things you don't worry about when you're home, or when you've got your bus and you're in your familiar environment. So, but ultimately the players really don't have to think about that. I think our staff does a great job in terms of handling all the logistics and making it as seamless as possible. And it's a good group.
Christina Kelly with a goal, and then all of a sudden, a minute later, UMBC tied the game up. But then somebody besides Jordan scored the game winner. Abby Thornton with the game winner right before halftime.
Yeah, the thing that I love both goals for different reasons. The first goal was really a translation of what we had talked about being key to the game, and kind of we were working on that phase of play and training for the bulk of our training week, and all of the bits and pieces from the initial win of possession with the first ball, getting the second ball, and just how calmly and the movement and the mobility and the choices, everything about that first goal was as good a goal we've scored, in my opinion, this year. The second goal, for a different reason. I mean, the ball is out. There's 46 seconds left when their goalkeeper takes a goal kick. They kick it out of bounds, and our team is sprinting to get the ball back into play. We end up getting a corner. We're sprinting to get the ball onto to take the corner, and ball's in the air with 6 seconds left. And we end up putting it in with literally, 2 seconds to go in the half. And that turns out to be the difference of 3 points and 1 point. And I think that goal really captures our mentality and a team that's really chasing something.
And that talks a little bit about the conditioning too. I mean, and you mentioned the mindset, but the conditioning to be able to race and get set up and have everybody, you know, maybe the tendency is, oh, there's 20 seconds left to go. We'll just let the half run out and take its course. But as you said, you sprinted down there, took the throw in, got the corner, and then scored.
Yeah, I think what you touched on, it's really about mentality, because a lot of times in that situations, people just let the half run out, and they're not really interested in, it's like, okay, we'll start fresh. And it's like, we see the clock and there's 30 seconds and we're like, we got a chance. And that really is important for a team, because again, see what happens, and that just further adds to your belief.
Well, so now you're home for the next two weekends. U Albany this Sunday at noon. Bark in the Park. As I told you, I have two Great Danes, but it's the only time I root against Great Danes. Um, Talk to us a little bit about the upcoming game.
Well, Albany's won 2 games in a row. They've they've scored a couple goals, some good goals in transition. So I got to believe that they have a lot of belief. And I think our players, I think hopefully with our experience, they recognize, you know, records matter nothing, and the reality is you have to play the game. And I think it's more about how we want to play versus who we're playing, and that's important to us. We're after trying to play our best game of the season, and we still think that that's out there for us, and it's just a matter of who's in our way, if you will.
Well, and again, I mean, you look at the defense here. I mean, only allowing one goal. I mean, the most goals you allowed all season was that game against Rutgers. But otherwise, it's basically just been one or two goals, and for the most part, just one goal a game allowed, and it's just an outstanding defense.
Yeah, well, I think it also has to do with the fact that we have the ball a lot. The idea is if you're in possession, you're in control of the game. So I think that takes a lot of pressure off of our back line. And the other thing too is that we end up winning the ball a lot of times high up the pitch, close to our opponent's goal. That also takes a lot of pressure off of our back line. And then when our back line is called into play, they read the game exceptionally well. We've got a very calm and composed goalkeeper who we're able to play back to, which is important because then she can kind of settle the game for us and then ultimately be able to play out, which is important for relative to how we want to play.
And talk a little bit about the goaltending in terms of playing back to the keeper. I mean, the rule is if the ball is kicked back to the keeper um, the by the defense, the keeper cannot pick up the ball. So, I mean, that is a skill in itself to be able to calmly settle the ball, look up the field, and then play the ball without using their hands.
Yeah, well, modern goalkeepers use their feet a lot more than they use their hands. And so, when we are recruiting players for that position, they've got to be great with their feet. And I think if you look at our keepers historically, they're really good with their feet, and they're able to, they're a field player because they have to be. And I think by playing back, it does two things. One, it allows you to reset, and two, it allows you to stretch teams. Because every time you play backwards, teams come out and they stretch, they get stretched, and that opens opportunities and pockets depending on the team you play. So there's a lot of intention with that. It's not just let's play it back and start again. Sometimes it's to regroup and to reset. Sometimes it's to deliberately bring a team out and stretch them out.
All right. Dogs are encouraged to come out onto the field. Well-behaved, well-mannered dogs are encouraged to come out this Sunday. October 20th, 12 noon against Albany. Coach, congratulations. Again, making the playoffs 9-1-2, a perfect 5-0 in Hockey East. And then you've got this Sunday and then the following Sunday, which will be senior day. And that will be the last regular season game up at Mahaney Diamond. But hopefully we'll have plenty of playoff action up there as well this going into November. Best of luck. Thanks for joining us this week. Have a great day.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All
Great.
right.
We'll
I
see you next
appreciate
week.
it. Same
Thank you,
time
Chris.
next week. Next week.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. Yeah, I
Okay.
really appreciate your. Thank you.
All right. We'll get it up. Have a great day. Thanks.